Welcome, everyone. It is great to have you here. This is going to be an exciting show where we're really looking forward to bringing you this information. If you are joining us live, take a moment and comment, say hello, tell us where you are today. It'd be interesting to see where everyone is who's watching this. And if you're watching later, if you're watching the rebroadcast of this, go ahead and make a comment in the comment box. Tell us where you are and what you think of what we're talking about, or if you have any questions, you can leave them there, and we'll go back and we'll get those comments and we'll respond. I am very excited about today's topic, and I think you will be too, as it's something you're going to be able to put to use, I think, almost immediately. See, today we're going to focus on the sales calendar and sales planning. I think that's something that every sales department that we work with could probably be doing a better job at, or use a refresher, or add some focus to, as it's just extremely important to make sure that you have a really good sales calendar to plan out your year. And to do that, I've invited a real expert on the subject to join our conversation today. So let me start by introducing him, and I came prepared. I wrote out his bio because I didn't want to mess it up. So Trey Morris, he's a senior consultant for the Center for Sales Strategy. He is described as a leader, a creative storyteller, and trust me, he is a true sales expert. He's spent 25 plus years in the world of broadcasting and advertising by literally holding every significant role in the sales funnel. Let me explain. He's sold advertising. He's managed radio station sales teams. He's run his own full service agency. He's been the chief marketing officer for a large independent insurance company. And he started a successful restaurant chain that does marketing and advertising. So he's literally been on every side of this thing. Trey and I have known each other for the past 23 years, and I have just a ton of respect for him, both as a person as well as his knowledge when it comes to business, sales, and sales management. And I'm thrilled to have him here today as our guest as we dive deep into the concept of the sales calendar and sales planning. Hi, Trey. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Thanks for having me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good setup, right?
It's a great setup. I'm going to owe you some money.
That's right. Good. I said exactly what you told me to say, so you'll be happy with it. All right, so let's jump into this because I think, like I said in the opener, I think this is a really important topic, and it's one that it's like one of those things that's important but maybe not urgent. So let's jump in. What is a sales calendar, and why is it something that sales managers should use?
So the sales calendar is really a centralized sales planning tool that's used by managers and salespeople to really plan the big events, the big sales initiatives that you're going to have throughout the year. But it also gives you the priorities as to what is important and when it's important. I am a big fan of sales calendars. When we worked together back in the day, 23 years ago, that was a long time ago, we used sales calendars, and we used them almost all the time, but not all the time, because it is something that's really important, but it's not urgent, and you can get out of the habit of using it, and that is a problem. So if you're not doing it, you need to do it. If you used to do it, you need to do it again. If you're doing it regularly, awesome. Maybe we can give you a little bit of tips of how to be more effective in that. But it's really going to track all of your major sales opportunities for the year every month. And it's really going to give you better visibility of what you should be doing it, when you should be doing it, and who owns it.
That makes sense to me. We have a shared colleague or a shared client actually who said this to me. He said, "I can tell your priorities by looking at your calendar." And I always remember that, right? And that's kind of what you were saying. If it's really important, then you should have it tracked. So with that, what are some of the obstacles that get in the way of using a sales plan? I mean, if everyone buys into this is a good idea, then what are the obstacles that get in the way?
So it's time. It's where you're spending your time. And as a sales leader, it's not like you just have a plethora of time that you're just sitting at your desk going, hey, I think I'm going to be strategic, right? I mean, you have people that are constantly, I would say in the old days, in your office. Now they're on Zoom or on Teams calls. They're dealing with problems. You have corporate issues. You have people issues. And so you just don't prioritize, this is something I need to do. The other thing is it forces you to plan ahead. And we like to think we're good at planning, but in reality, we're really not. And we kind of fly by the seat of our pants a lot of times. And finally, you've got to be able to prioritize what's important. And we have a saying here at CSS where you hear it all the time, especially from Greg, who's in charge of our content and experience for our clients, is we can do anything, but you can't do everything. And a sales calendar really makes that a living, breathing mission of, hey, we want to figure out what's important, what we want to focus on, when we're going to focus it, and make sure we have a plan accordingly. It's going to give us better visibility and a better allocation of our resources. And so those are the things that stop us. There's just a lot going on there, and we don't prioritize doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like anything, right? I mean, it's either a priority, it's either one of those routines that you say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to once a year, twice a year, whatever it is, we're going to set the time, we're going to set the calendar, we're going to review it regularly. So how does a sales leader, let's say it looks, because I just looked on how many people are watching this, looks like there's quite a few people watching it, which is awesome. And thank you. So I would imagine there are people saying, okay, I'm in. I want to do a sales calendar. I know it's important. I kind of mentally always have done one, but maybe I haven't formalized it as much as I could. How does a sales leader go about building their plan? I mean, what are the steps that they should follow?
That's a great question. I mean, what you have to do is you have to compile all of the sales initiatives, the sales opportunities that you'll have in a given year. And so that may be 5 things, it could be 10 things, it might be 100 different things when you add in all the different things that you have to sell as a sales organization. That part's easy. Here's the hard part. Now you have to prioritize them. Okay, what's the biggest rock that you're going to start? You're going to fill this sales calendar. I'm taking the big I have. I am putting it in first because that is the most important thing we have to do. And you go down the list. And like I said, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. And at some point you have to figure out what are really our 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 initiatives and opportunities that you're really going to focus on as a sales team in conjunction as one unit. Okay. Then what you have to do is you have to start slotting them of when they happen on the calendar. And it doesn't have to be super fancy. You don't need some special program. There's no software as a service you need to buy. I printed out what we used to use. It's a spreadsheet from Excel. It's color coded and it is lovely. And basically what you're doing is you're putting in each month what the initiative is and what's important. And then with that, what you're going to want to do is you have to kind of determine 3 things. Who is the plan captain? Who is going to own this? Who's going to have ownership of this sales initiative? Is it going to be yourself? Is it going to be another manager? Or are you going to have someone on your sales staff that's going to own this and kind of lead on it? But that's really important. Then you're going to go, okay, what's the planning window for this sales initiative? So example, if you have an initiative and it's, a big concert. Let's assume we have concerts again in March. When do you start planning for that? Do you start in November? Do you start earlier? Do you start later? And you block that out. And then you have, when is the sales initiative? When are you going to sell these events? When is it going to run? Is it going to run right up until the event? Does it have to end, 6 weeks, 8 weeks out? That's up to you to decide. That's where you know what your initiative is, what's important, and when you need to sell it. And then finally, where does that event, where does that initiative impact revenue on your books? And so you're going to look at those three things of who's going to be planning it, when you're going to be planning it, when you're selling it, and then where's the financial impact on your books. That's how you do it. The key, though, is you don't want to have too many initiatives all at the same time. It's okay if they overlap a little bit. And there are some things that you could sell throughout the year, and obviously those are going to overlap. But you can't have major sales initiatives all stacked on top of each other. If you do that, it's going to be really hard for your sales team to focus on what's truly important, right? You can't focus on 5 things at the same time.
Right. It's not
by definition, focus is one thing.
Right.
And so you want to make sure you're spacing those out so you have plenty of time to plan, sell, and do. And that's how you do it. So you don't want to have too many stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, a big benefit of a sales calendar, because I don't think that sales managers probably intentionally ring a lot of bells at one time. I don't think that it's an intentional thing, right? It's that everything is exciting and everything is urgent and everything is right now. And so without having a sales calendar, you probably do have so much going on that you're not taking advantage of focus. And
yeah, I mean, if everything is important, nothing's important.
Right.
Everything is urgent, nothing is urgent.
Yeah. So this makes you be a lot more intentional.
What now?
This makes you be a lot more intentional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're intending on what's important at the time, and you can focus on it so that you can put all of your energy and all of your focus on that so that it is more successful. If I have to have a sales team that's focused on one thing, then that team is really focused and they're working on that. It's going to be a successful opportunity for us. If there's 5 things, what are you, 20% effective? Right. I don't think that's the goal.
Yeah, right. If you're focused, you can truly make an impact. If you're not focused, you just work really hard and struggle.
Yep.
Right, and get frustrated. That's a good point. I've gotten 2 text messages in the last 30 seconds about technology, and you mentioned Excel. I'm certain that there is some sort of a technology solution that could do a sales calendar, but what you're saying is, sure, if there is, fine, use it if it works for you, but so Excel works just fine.
It works completely fine. And yes, there are all kinds of softwares that allows that. Marketo used to be a good one. They got bought by Adobe. I'm sure they still have their own program. There's a lot of those that are available. Monday is one that just makes Excel spreadsheets look super cool.
Right. Smartsheets
is another one. Exactly.
Right. There are dozens of them. Probably by the time we're done with this broadcast, a new one will have launched and try to make. But Excel works perfect. No need to go any further than that.
No.
All right. Once the plan is built, so now a sales leader, they're watching this right now, or they're watching the replay, and they're like, you know what? I'm in. I get it. I've always known I should have done a sales calendar. I should have a sales calendar, but I haven't done it. I'm going to commit. I'm going to do it. Now they've built it. How should they roll it out to the team? What's the best way to do that?
So in a perfect world, and actually right now is the perfect time to be building your sales calendar. I mean, it's the end of October. You need to have this really kind of in the works in the next month or so, especially for some of the early year events. You're probably already in the window of planning or selling. But what I would recommend is once that calendar is complete and you do have buy-in from all the various departments and all the different leaderships and people, that you have kind of a state of the union kickoff meeting, a big event for your entire team. And maybe it'll be in person, maybe it's in Zoom, I don't know. But either way, do a big kickoff meeting, make a big announcement of these are the big sales initiatives. These are the big events. This is the big concert. This is the big festival. This is the big run. This is the big charity, right? It's an opportunity to not only share what our objectives are going to be, what our goals are going to be, and how we're going to sell and when we're going to do it, but it's also a time to get your team excited about all the cool things that you're rolling out or focusing on for the next year. And I promise you, when you lay it out and you show the windows of when you'll be planning, when you're selling, and when it's going to impact their billing, right? You're going to reassure your sales team that there's a plan. And if 2020 hasn't made us desperate for visibility and plans and stability, I don't know what will, but we crave that. And salespeople crave that. They need that. They want to be led. They want to be told, I have a plan, I know where we're going, and this is how we're going to do it. And this is an opportunity for you to do that. And so by rolling it out in a big meeting, you're gonna get everyone on the same page. They're all going to be on the bus. They're all going to know where their seat is. They're going to know where you're going. And that's going to give you a better opportunity for success. So you'll share the calendar. Make sure everyone sees it. Make sure everyone knows about it. And then once you did the big rollout, what you can do is as you begin the sales initiative window for each of these big events, these big initiatives, you can do another big kickoff meeting to begin the sales process, where you have the team lead or the plan captain, whatever you want to call them, that leads it. They're going to be talking about it. There might even be hype videos. There might be the sales collateral that's going to go out. It's the perfect opportunity to begin identifying the target accounts that your salespeople are going to go after to sell. It might be the time where you share any kind of sales enablement collateral or tools. It's the perfect way to have a big vision, but then allow it to be more focused on each sales initiative as you route the year.
Yeah, that makes total sense. A lot of the comments that we're getting are on it's really resonating with the idea of focus, right? Everyone, so many people are commenting now. Focus is so important. This keeps you on track. This is a critical part of the planning process. So this is good, and if I'm a sales leader watching this right now, I think you've articulated great, what is the sales calendar and why it's important, and what are the obstacles that could get in the way of doing it, and you've taken some time to go through the steps of building out the sales calendar, and then not just building it out, but rolling it out. One final question, and I can feel the collective eye roll of every sales leader that watches this, that it's like, oh great, another make work project, another thing that I'm going to be asked to do. How do we prevent this from being just a make work project? How do you use the sales calendar? How often should we review it so it's living and it's an important piece of our sales success versus just a thing you do every late October?
Yeah, and it's a good question because there is so much that is on our sales leaders' desks. You and I talk to them on a daily basis. We understand what they have to deal with, whether it's from salespeople, sales managers, from their bosses, from corporate, you name it, there's a lot going on. Clients, right? If you don't believe that having a sales calendar and planning your year and allocating your resources and creating visibility and stability for your team, don't do it. If you're not bought into it, if you're not going to embrace it, then do not do it. Do not spend an hour planning for something you're not going to use. It's a waste of your time and theirs. Don't do it. But if you think this can help you and help your team, then you have to fully buy in. And just like your daily calendar, which we all live by, I mean, we are constantly getting reminders of you have a Zoom meeting, you have a Teams meeting, right? What if you just ignored that? You just ignored all of the appointments you had today. Probably not going to go well, right? It's not going to go well. Well, just like your daily calendar, your sales calendar is the same thing. You have to follow it. You have to begin the process when it says to begin the process for planning. You have to do the big kickoff for the sales initiative when it's sales initiative, and you have to make sure you're doing all the right things for it. But it allows you to know what you need to do and when to do it. And so that's why that's so important. Now, here's the thing. Just because it's in writing and it's in a super cool Excel spreadsheet with color coding, I might add, that's key. You're not a slave to it. It's not like this is the Constitution and it can't change, which, by the way, you can change the Constitution, but that's not important. What's important is this is a living, breathing document, right? You can change it as you go. If you realize you're spending too much time planning, reduce that. If you think the sales initiative isn't long enough in the window, open it. If you think that there's an event that honestly, there are other events around it that are more important and a higher dollar potential, you can kill it. Don't do it. This is a document that you can adjust as you go. So yeah, you build it once a year, but honestly, you're probably evaluating it after every single initiative and as you begin the planning process for the next one. So it's something that it's valuable if you use it, it's valuable if you adjust it, and it helps you have better visibility in what you want to accomplish. It's going to keep you on track. It's going to help you get to budget. It's going to make next year so much better than this year.
That's really excellent. All right. So as we wrap up, and I need to say a big, big thank you, Trey, to you for taking your time to share your expertise and not just your knowledge of how to do this, but your experience in using it. I think both are extremely valuable. I also know that if people want to reach out to you, we'll put the information up on the screen. There's your LinkedIn, and they can connect with you, and they can direct message you, and you'll be happy to respond to everyone. I know that you're able to do that. I'm the same. If anyone has any questions on this, you want to reach out to me. I'm more than willing to do that as well. Please make sure that you tell everybody about this. We're real excited about the Improving Sales Performance broadcast. We're going to rebroadcast this on YouTube. We'll have a YouTube channel, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep checking. We'll be broadcasting on LinkedIn Live often. So thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Happy selling. We'll see you later.
Thanks, everybody.
And when stars are in light,